In this module, we will talk about Made in Italy and retail, some examples of Made in Italy successful organization that actually were able to connect the retail experience and be able to offer with retail not just the normal store as traditional one, because of course with the advent of e-commerce the retail has to change and of course have more experience related, be much more experience related that it used to be in the past. We will make some examples. First example is called outlet store. So this is not a typical mall, it's a village. So you can see here from this picture the attempt of who MacArthurGlen, the company that launched these villages throughout Europe, is an English company actually, to recreate the village of old ancient European towns. So you see the walking place, the sort of medieval architecture in some areas with towers, and allow the really experience not just purchasing but going around in a beautiful day, walking. Of course there are restaurants in which you can eat. These are the brands, and you see there are some of the most known Italian, not just Italian brands there. They have their store, and of course what is the difference that these company has each one their own store. So it's not like a big supermarket where you see all the product all together. That's another element that is very dangerous for luxury. But each of these brands has their own store, and so their own concept of service, their own idea of how to even care about the internal layout and everything. Another example of an experience in a different sectors, of course, we move from design, from fashion to food. It's Italy. Italy, this is one they have many. Some of you has may see in the New York or in the Florence, Italy. Italy concept is to combine different services into one. They have basically three services. One is the store where you can buy specific brand, not known brands. You don't find the Barilla pasta, you find the typical local pasta that actually is not known as a brand but is delivered through the brand of Italy because it represents maybe a smaller company, more local. So the store, one; second, the restaurant; and three, the cooking classes. So the integration of this gives the experience. So you can basically buy a product, and in the cooking class you can learn how to make it and try in the restaurant. So basically you can go back home then with the product you purchase and do the same thing that you ate at the restaurant because you learned it in the cooking class. So this gives the idea that this is not just a store, it's an integrated experience in which you experience the local, unknown Italian brands, you try, and you learn how to make recipes. Another example is the combination of two products that actually have not so much in common as bicycle and drinks and a bar. And this is done to make stores more livable. Again, you go there, you have a traditional product, even if it's not like the typical products usually known, bicycle, but Bianchi is a very famous and historical Florence brand that made bicycle. And so there is the history you see somewhere pictured in the wall. You see the stories of how the product was made. So again, it's not a store, but it seems like sort of history, a little bit of museum, a little bit of store, and of course there is a little bit of entertainment. So there is a bar, cocktail, people can interact to each other. If you think this is a way, very important way to create also a physical place for the community to meet, for what we call the tribe. The tribe is the group of people that share the same passion, that sometimes need also a physical place to get together. And this is one of the type of places that can do that. Another example of an interesting one of recent type of new concept of stores or sort of experience places is what Tots actually didn't call store, but call it in London Tots apartment. So the idea is that you're in London, you do not enter the Tots store, but basically you enter the Tots house. So everything is furnished like an apartment. So there is also the living room, and there is a sort of kitchen, and there are areas in which, of course, there are the products that they manufacture, like shoes and bags, but also you see books, you see areas of relaxation, and basically the idea is this is not just the made in Italy products, but this is the made in Italy experience. What kind of design objects do we have in this Italian style house? What kind of furniture? Is the integration of all of this that creates the made in Italy experience. So Tots now, it's not just becoming a shoe or bags manufacturer, but this company is actually giving an idea of what is the made in Italy experience related to furnishing a house, of making it comfortable. Another example, a little bit different of this, is really of integration between online and offline, traditional brick and mortar type of retail, is Luisa Via Roma. Luisa Via Roma has one store in Florence, very famous, in a very central location, close to Piazza della Repubblica in Firenze, and the store has been famous because used to be a place where the most innovative brands were placed, and there were a lot of tourists going there. What they understood is that they was not enough to have one store. They decided to grow, but not opening new store. They kept this and only the store of reference, and they started to launch a huge online operations that brought them to be one of the most important e-commerce. This is the actual office where people work in e-commerce. It gives you an idea how many people work. So they basically kept the store, but the majority, the 90% of the revenue is done with the e-commerce. And of course, the experience is going in the store, maybe at least once in Florence, and then be in touch with the company online. So you see sometimes the product, you see that they are reliable. They, of course, are not a manufacturer. They are a typical intermediate. So basically they sell other brands, but they're very good in the selection of the top fashion and luxury products, and they became one of the most visited e-commerce site and platforms for those who wants to buy fashion and luxury goods. And this is an interesting case. Let's see a case outside of Italy, in China. This is a project done with a group of companies that actually, when they decided to open store in China made in Italy, they decided to get together, and instead of creating stores separate for each different industry, so one for food, one for fashion, one for design, they decided to recreate the made in Italy excellence in the same type of store, putting together different type of brands categories. So they actually have stores that have food, design, and fashion. what is so-called the 3F, they call it, of Made in Italy Excellent. F, fashion, food, and furniture. So furniture, that is also design. Food, you see olive oil, other typical Italian product, and fashion, the fashion. So you have, of course, different sections. You have the section of the fashion, you have the section of the furniture and design, and you have the section of the food. Why that? Because, again, this is the experience that counts. You do not go into a brand, mono brand, but what is best that experiencing Italy from its most typical area: food, fashion, and design, furniture. This is the experiment that I think a lot of other companies will do throughout the world, recreating in the store something that is just more than, product purchase, but it is experiencing the key element of a culture, and also be able to interact with others that has the same taste, that wants to have the same experience, and so once again creating this concept of community and tribe.